Imagine a world where entertainment wasn't escape, but enforcement, where the loudest cheer in the city rose for blood, and the grandest building was a machine designed to turn suffering into applause. Forget the marble postcards and tidy myths. The Roman arena was a theater of dominance, and every seat was a lesson in who held power and how easily a life could be spent. Start with the gladiators, the names we remember, the bodies we forget. Many were enslaved, prisoners of war, condemned criminals, men tricked by debt or bad luck into selling years of their lives. A few volunteered, lured by prize money, status, the faint shimmer of freedom. But everyone who stepped through that gate swore a grim oath to endure burning, binding, beating, and if it came to it, death. They trained like athletes and were kept like property, fed well, not because Rome was kind, but because a star dying too early ruins the show. So no, not every duel ended with a kill. But mercy in the arena was economics wearing a smile, and iron still carved its interest from the bone. Execution was the midday intermission, as if the city paused its cheering to sharpen it. Condemned men and women were paraded as villains, rebels, enemies of the people. Sometimes they faced beasts, lions, bears, leopards, released from dark cages into bright sand. Sometimes the killing posed as mythology, a Prometheus chained for eagles, an Orpheus lured to a trapdoor packed with teeth, a Hercules whose labors ended where the blade began. The trick was simple and devastating: wrap punishment in story, and you teach the crowd to read cruelty as justice. The message drifted up with the dust: obey the state, or the state will write your ending. Beneath the Colosseum's floor sprawled a backstage city of ropes, pulleys, elevators, and trapdoors. Stage thunder rolled. Painted scenery rose like gardens at command. Cages whispered upward until they shrieked open in sunlight. Perfumed mists tried to sweeten what the sun cooked. Awnings stretched over the elite while everyone below baked. This was spectacle as engineering, wonder yoked to authority. Rome's architects recreated seas and forests, storms and mountains, and then placed a man at the center to be conquered by them all. If the gods made nature, emperors made illusions, and illusions obeyed. The animals paid too. The empire's reach stocked its afternoons. Caravans dragged lions from North Africa, bears from the mountains, ostriches and crocodiles, and anything strange enough to make a Roman squint with delight. What arrived in Rome looked like abundance. What echoed across distant landscapes was absence. You can't bleed a world for long just to fill an arena, but for centuries, Rome tried. Exotic death became a civic habit. The crowd learned to cheer at faces they'd never see in the wild, because the wild itself was being fed to their leisure. And the crowd, why did they come? Some came for the roar and rhythm, for free grain and sun, and a chance to shout the emperor's name with 1,000 friends. Some came because the city offered them a stage to be part of, a grand chorus of belonging. But the deeper current was political. Bread and circuses wasn't a cynical slogan. It was policy. Keep bellies full and minds dazzled, and the city hums instead of burns. Each show retold the same story. Rome tames chaos, Rome humbles the savage, Rome sits above nature and fate. Even clemency, the spared fighter, the thumb lifted, became propaganda, a kindness that required an emperor to be watching so it could exist at all. There's a quieter violence here, easy to miss if you watch only the blades. It's what the spectacle did to the spectator. When pain becomes choreography, when a dying man is simply late-stage entertainment, something inside the viewer reorders. Philosophers warned that the games made cruelty casual, that citizens were being trained to admire strength and despise weakness, to crave harder hits, sharper endings, cleaner lines between us and them. The arena did not just reflect Rome. It rehearsed Romans to be the people their rulers preferred. So when you picture the Colosseum, don't stop at the sand. Remember the oath that sounded like a funeral. Remember the cages groaning upward, the trapdoors swallowing hope, the painted myth that ended in real blood. Remember the caravans that emptied horizons. Remember the crowd squinting into the heat, practicing the habit of not looking away. Rome loved its shows because they were everything Rome believed in. Order over chaos, rule over life. The empire center stage, applauded by its own reflection. Entertainment was not a veil so much as a mirror polished, colossal, and angled to hide the hands that tilted it. And once you've seen that, the roar of the crowd stops sounding like joy. It sounds like approval, and that is the darkest art the arena ever mastered. Swear the subscriber's oath, tap, subscribe, and march with the Roman scroll.